Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The feds come to Detroit to target illegal guns on the street tonight. They give the Local 4 defenders an update. What they're finding just may shock you.
Just getting brushed with sprinkles this afternoon, but we've got more rain in the next 48 hours and find out if the weekend is going to bring a frosty start.
But we'll begin with live pictures from Case Western in Cleveland, where in just a few hours, President Trump will square off against Joe Biden in the first presidential debate. Good to have you with us for Local 4 News at 5. It's the first of 3 debates ahead of the Election Day on November 3rd.
And you can expect everything will be on the table, from the pandemic to the Supreme Court and the president's taxes. Alice Barr is in Cleveland with a look at what's at stake. Alice, good evening.
Devin and Kimberly, tonight's debate will likely have a big audience, but many of those viewers have already made up their minds about which candidate they'll support.
Tonight, the long-anticipated chance for voters to watch President Trump and Joe Biden go head-to-head in the first presidential debate. The candidates squaring off over key issues in a time of crisis. More than 206,000 American lives lost to a pandemic that's also rocked the economy. Biden will attack the president's coronavirus response.
Why I think he's failed and why I think the answers I have to proceed will help the American people.
President Trump prepared to attack on all fronts. Aides telling NBC News he wants to get under Biden's skin.
There's just something wrong with Joe. He's off.
Biden will also try to set the contrast between his ties to Scranton and the president's to Park Avenue. Biden today releasing his 2019 tax returns, putting pressure on President Trump, who's refused to release his own while he's under audit. Biden sure to seize tonight on New York Times reporting that the president paid little to no federal income tax for most of the last 2 decades, largely because his business empire lost more money than it made. NBC News has not independently reviewed the documents. The president saying he's entitled, like everyone else, to take advantage of tax loopholes.
It's ridiculous. My father's paid tens of millions of taxes.
With early voting already underway, the candidates making a primetime appeal to a shrinking number of undecided voters.
Behind in several recent polls, President Trump will be working to make up ground tonight, and Biden may well be the candidate who has both the most to gain and the most to lose. In Cleveland, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, our Grant Herms and the Local 4 Trust Index team will be fact-checking this first debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden live tonight. So you can watch the debate here on Local 4 at 9 p.m. And while you're watching, you can follow the fact-checking on clickondetroit.com. And Grant will also be with the Local 4 News Today team tomorrow morning to break down the debate. They get started at 4:30 a.m.
When the Trump administration announced federal agents would be sent to Detroit to combat crime, there were a lot of questions about what those agents would be doing.
And now the U.S. Attorney is giving the defenders an inside look at Operation Legend. Defender Sean Lay live with us now. And Sean, they're doing their best to try to get guns and criminals off the street.
And it was, Devin, as you know, developed into an election year issue and rather controversial, right? So we wanted to know what's been happening out there with the feds and police partnering up. So we went to the very top to find out what they are finding on the streets.
Within the last month and a half, we have taken hundreds of guns and offenders and amounts of drugs off the street.
U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider telling the Local 4 defenders police and the feds are finding guns, illegal guns, everywhere on so many people they have contact with, and they say it's nonstop. In 1 month, Dearborn had a 140% increase in gun arrests. People are finding the need to be armed, and Operation Legend wants to get guns out of the hands of people using them to commit crimes, robberies, and assaults, even murders.
We don't want them there if they're illegal guns and they're used in violence. And who would want those guns in their neighborhoods? Nobody would.
Operation Legend, the feds plan to target violence in America's most violent cities. Controversial to many, saying federal agents came to Detroit to arrest anti-police protesters. The reality is, since the expansion of the operation was announced over the summer, local police working with those feds are targeting people committing violent crimes, and they are making arrests.
If you are an illegal gun possessor, if you're a felon and you've got a gun, or you're using a gun to deal drugs, you're going to be looking at federal prison time. And that is just a fact of life.
You know, we were there when they announced the expansion of Operation Legend about midsummer, but the fact is that the feds were working with the police all the way back into last winter, doing the same thing, Devin and Kimberly, of focusing on guns and the people who use them, and that operation continues tonight. Back to you.
Well, Sean, this operation here in Detroit is inspired by a recent shooting. Let's get to an update on that.
I'm very glad, Devin, you brought that up. We are talking about Nathaniel Thompson Jr. Nathaniel Thompson Jr., 4 years old, at his grandmother's house in Detroit, sprayed by gunfire, and he was shot and killed. We asked the U.S. Attorney, is there any update on the case? He says there absolutely is. They're making progress. He's just not ready to reveal the details as of yet.
Yeah. All right, Sean.
Today, the state reports 898 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. Along with that, 20 new deaths are being reported. That includes 4 from a review of past vital records.
Well, what a difference a few days can make. We know that, but we've gone from the 80s to the low 60s since that rain moved through yesterday.
Yeah, let's get over to Ben, and you're tracking even more rain on the way.
We are, and we're going to continue to fall through that temperature floor, too. Those numbers are going to go down, but Storm Tracker 4 has got some showers that we're watching tonight. Everything has been really light and mostly out of the area until just about the last 30 minutes. Things kind of blown up there in Sanilac County, so a little bit more organized showers there. We expect to see most of this stuff in the north zone, and it will be exiting this evening. A lot of us are going to stay dry as temperatures move from the 60s into the 50s. But I'll tell you what, as we go forward, there is cold air that is hanging out just off to the north of us. And in fact, we can see that just in parts of Canada, just north of Michigan tonight. That is on its way as we head towards the weekend, not just cooling us down in the afternoon, but the mornings too. We'll talk about our frost potential and if we can finally see a warm up beyond, all coming up in a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben, as Detroit continues to come back, Mayor Mike Duggan wants to make sure the city is affordable for everybody.
So today, the mayor, along with some nonprofits and JP Chase, announcing a $50 million pledge to try to keep affordable housing in the city. Let's get to Jason Colthorpe, who's following the money, how this money is going to be spent and the impact it hopes to have. Jason.
Yeah, Devin, and the plan is to raise $75 million. So there's more work to be done here. And that money's going for affordable housing for people in the city, longtime residents, places like the St. Rita here, which was rehabbed and reopened in February of 2019.
Mayor Mike Duggan today renewing his commitment to preserving affordable housing in the city. Affordable housing which can quickly evaporate when new jobs and businesses move in. But over the last few years, the mayor says of 4,000 affordable housing units that have expired, all have been renewed and 1,000 more have been built.
So we're nearly halfway to our goal, which we set out, that we believe we can bring a huge amount of business back to the city and we can keep our residents in place if we can preserve 10,000 units and we can build 2,000.
The St. Rita on the north end, gutted by fire in 2005, is one example of a building redeveloped and reopened for people with low income, including homeless veterans. But as the mayor says, it's not cheap to do.
If you want to hold rent low enough that people of low income can afford it, but your housing costs to build are the same as every place else, you lose money. Nobody is going to build apartment units where the cost of building it costs more than they get back in rent. They'd all go out of business.
The city announced the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund today, to which JP Chase has pledged $15 million and $10 million from the Kresge Foundation.
$48 million committed today. It gets us the money to move forward over the next 2 or 3 years and continuing to build.
If JP Chase sounds familiar, by the way, that's because it's already invested $150 to $200 million within the city. So, by the way, this fund aims to finance housing for people who make $33,000 a year or $47,000 a year for families. But the priority is on people who earn the least amount of money. Back to you.
Well, Jason, how have things gone there since the St. Rita reopened?
As I said, it reopened in February of 2019, and this is anecdotal, meaning that I've just talked to people here today. And I remember I was here when it opened, and the inside is just incredible, very beautiful. And the people I talked to said it's still great. Everything is still wonderful. They haven't seen any major changes. I did get the feeling when I pushed a little bit that rent may have gone up a little.
Yeah.
However, the person who wouldn't give me a straight answer said it's still a great deal.
Which
so
is
there
good
you go.
to hear. Yeah, all right, Jason.
Investigators spent the morning at United Memorial Cemetery in Plymouth exhuming remains. We're told this is part of Operation United, which is an effort to gather DNA and work to identify unknown murder victims. In August, Detroit police, along with federal agents, exhumed 26 bodies at Knollwood Cemetery in Canton. The next phase of the operation began today and will continue through October 1st.
Getting our first look at the man charged in an accidental shooting at a house party. 20-year-old Donovan Harvest of Warren is facing reckless discharge and weapons charges. Shooting happened late Saturday in the area of Ivanhoe and I-696 in Roseville. Prosecutors say Harvest and a 17-year-old boy were handling guns. One of them went off accidentally, but that victim is still in critical condition after being shot in the head. Harvest is due back in court again next month. Police have arrested a suspect in connection with a deadly stabbing in Westland.
It happened around 1 this morning on Palmer Road near Northgate. Police tell Local 4 the victim died at the scene. Investigators say the victim and suspect knew each other. So far, the department is not releasing information about the victim until all the family has been notified.
Much more to come. Let's check in with Hank.
The battle over your vote and making sure that clerks across the state have enough time to count all the absentee ballots coming in for November. I'm Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank. I'll take you inside the controversy. Coming up new tonight.
And it's become a hot button issue in the city of Detroit. The debate over facial recognition has Detroit City Council making an important decision.
But first, the CDC says Thanksgiving should look quite different this year. We're breaking down their brand new guidelines, and we'll have a closer look next.